hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Lots About Something podcast. This is the podcast where we always talk lots, because that's who we are, the lots, about something. It's never nothing. It's always going to be something, and hopefully it's going to be something that is going to make you laugh. Hopefully it's going to be something that's going to encourage you. And hopefully it's going to be something that's going to help make your day better. My name is Chris, and I am one of your hosts. And I am joined by my lovely bride, Christy. How are you doing today, Christy?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Look, I got you saying it. Look at there.
Yeah, no, it's catchy. I like it. I'm still on for the t-shirts.
Yeah, me too. Or at least when our listeners see me, they say, "How you doing?" And they come back to me and say, "Doing good."
I can't remember if we were on the phone or there was something this week where someone actually said, "How you doing, Christy?" And they were wanting you to say, "Doing good."
Well, that's for a podcast. That's for the podcast.
That's for the 6 people that listen to the podcast,
Hey,
right?
I'm happy for the 6 people. 6, 10, 20. We're getting on up there.
Hey, real talk, though. This is true. We actually had this past podcast episode that we did, we actually had a fair amount of listeners.
That is awesome.
And so that was really good. I mean, we always have consistent numbers, but this was just a higher number.
We're getting out there, huh?
We're getting out there, and so we appreciate so much everybody that's here, and that you've taken a couple minutes out of your day to come and hang out with us.
And we do have a new listener, watcher, viewer.
Okay.
I found out this week, and
all right.
She even gave us a shout out on Facebook, so I was going to give her a shout out on the podcast.
Okay, go for it.
Shout out to Angela.
Angela.
If you're watching or listening this week, we just want to give you a little shout out. We appreciate every viewer, every listener.
And Mike at church. I know we have several Mikes, but Mike at church told me that he had actually he started from the very, very beginning. So episode 1, he told me he was on episode 3. So by the time he gets to this episode, it may be some time away if he ever gets here. But
that's just great.
Yeah, shout out to Mike.
You know, people are wanting to listen to what we have to say.
That's the most surprising thing to me is that people want to listen to what we have to say. That's probably the most surprising thing.
Well, we are quality entertainment for sure.
We are quality entertainment. I totally agree with that, and we are going to try to do our very best to entertain. We're going to try our very best to do this podcast.
Been a struggle.
This particular episode has been a real challenge for just all transparency. This is the 3rd time that we've actually hit the record button. And we have tried multiple other times, and like our stuff's just going haywire.
I'm afraid to touch, move, do anything. I'm just going to sit right here and look at myself in the camera.
We are totally like frozen. We're not moving. We don't want to make any sudden movements because we're not sure what is going to happen.
We don't know if it's the cord. We don't know what it is, but yeah. So we're just sitting very still.
So it's the 3rd time. Actually, we already did this podcast halfway through, and you looked up. We were almost done, and you looked up and said, "We're not recording," and it was like really deflating.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're back on track here, and
I hope so.
And we'll make it through this, and see what happens.
See what we got to say.
See what happens. All right.
What we got to say.
Hey, so listen, we always like to kick off our podcast with a segment that we call "What's New," and essentially we just say what's new, what's been happening in our world, things that have been going on with us. So I'm gonna let you start. What's new? What's good with you?
Not a whole lot's been going on with me. I do have a doctor's appointment at the end of this week, but just routinal. And we got a present or a little surprise today.
We got a surprise today?
We did. Well, we
sure did.
We did. You walked out of the church.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't buy any sweets this week because I'm trying to, if I don't buy them, then we don't eat them.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't in our cards today. You come out with this beautiful homemade
I can't wait to eat some.
Mountain Dew cake.
It's a Mountain Dew cake.
Like, I'm not eating dinner, but I'm going to eat me a piece of cake.
It looks delicious.
Looks phenomenal.
I'm going to eat the biggest piece. I may eat half the cake when I go eat it. Ansley at our church brought it to us. Technically, we were second choice.
I'm okay with second.
She brought it to so we had a gentleman in our church, an older couple at our church, and their son passed away. They did the funeral yesterday, and Ansley brought him a cake.
It was very thoughtful.
And Ansley's super sweet girl. I mean, just super sweet. Brought him a cake, but obvious reasons they weren't at church today. She didn't want the cake to go to waste, so she said, I think I'm going to give it to Chris.
I'm so thankful for that.
And when she did, I could have kissed Ansley right in the mouth. I'm just telling you right now, Christy.
You could not. You can't say that.
Oh, okay. I hey, listen.
You can't say that.
Okay.
That's not right.
All right.
But it looks good.
Could have, though.
We're going to enjoy a piece after this podcast.
No, it's going to be absolutely delicious.
If this podcast records, we're going to enjoy a piece of cake in the bed, watching some TV.
We're going to celebrate the fact that we got through this podcast with as much cake as we can eat.
And watching Family Feud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we live an extravagant, exciting life.
We do live a pretty extravagant life. So that is one thing that's new. I was trying to think what else is new with me. This isn't new, but work continues to just be, it's an adjustment. It's not a bad adjustment. There's nothing bad that's happening. Right. It's just a different kind of workload.
Well, you did lose some weight this week.
I did lose some weight. I lost 0.2 pounds.
No. That was
last week.
You did a little bit better this week. 1.9, wasn't it?
No. I think it's like 1.3 or 1.3.
Well, that's still great. We have to.
Yeah. I forgot. I was thinking I had lost 0.2, but you're right. I did lose 1.3 pounds. So, that is exciting. I'm glad about that. I also celebrated with a big cheeseburger. Did you know that this past week was National Cheeseburger Day? You know what? One of my favorite things to do, and I do this on my Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you could see it on my page. But I like to post every day what the national day is. There's this company called the National Day or Nat Day or something like that. Essentially, there's different things to celebrate every single day, and I like to post that. And so if there's something that's like vulgar or something that I don't personally agree with, I don't post that day.
Right.
Like if there was like 30 things, if there's one thing that like is against my belief or my character or whatever, I won't post it. But most of the time, it's always a lot of fun. It's good stuff. So National Cheeseburger Day was the other day. National Pastor Spouse Day was a couple of weeks ago. I didn't even know that day existed.
Me neither.
Yeah.
That was a good day. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I like to post those. So that was exciting this past week.
Yeah, something else that we had talked about was the Jeep.
Yeah, that's right. Found out this week that have to get a new transmission in the Jeep, which is I'm not excited about that. It's you actually pointed this out. I didn't realize it before. It's going to cost us more to get the Jeep fixed than it is than what we paid for the Jeep. I didn't realize that until you said something about it. We got a really good deal on the Jeep, and we should have sold it when we got it. We could have made like triple our money what we put into it, but now we've got to get a new transmission. So that's fun.
Yeah, kind of sucks, but
it does. It does. Right. It's not a good new thing, but I tell you what is a good new thing.
Tell me.
Something that is good that happened this past week that I've really enjoyed is if our iPhones, we're iPhone users, we got a brand new update on our iPhones.
Yeah. You must be way more excited about that than I am.
I mean, it's got some really neat features on it that I really like. I'm glad that they added. They used to have the percentage button, like for your battery. You used to have the percentage in the top right corner. They took it out, and they just added it back. And so that's pretty good. I'm excited about that.
I didn't realize they took it out.
Yeah, they took it out, and they just added it back. Another really cool thing that I like that I didn't know that I would like is they added what's called a haptic keyboard. Mm-hmm. So now, or before the update, whenever you touched your screen, you just touched the screen and you just knew that it was registering by your touch and it would like light up. So that was the only thing. Well, now with the haptic keyboard, it vibrates when you turn it on. So it'll buzz when you press the buttons. And I didn't know how I would like it, but I'm a fan.
Oh, there's a lot of things I don't know about it. The one thing I know that's different about the update is my clock, my time on the front screen. I like it. I noticed a change in that.
Yeah, no, they did a whole thing on the front to kind of help redo the lock screen. It also has a feature where you can go into your photos and it'll automatically identify duplicates and it'll merge those photos together, which is really cool. And then another thing that you can do that's in the update is you can go into a photo, hold down, let's say it was a picture of you, and you liked that picture, but you didn't like what was behind you. You could hold down on you and it would take out the whole background.
Can you put any background on?
You can move it around. You can move it around, or like you could put it in Canva, or you could put it in Notes. You could text it to someone. You could create new backgrounds with it, different stuff like that. Maybe inside of Instagram. Say there was an Instagram post and you wanted to take a picture of you, or like an Instagram story. You want to take a picture of you, then you could do that. So anyway, the update is really cool, and I like it. And some of the reason that I know that kind of leads us into our main topic for today, okay? And the reason that I am so aware of what's been happening is I have seen a lot of people posting on Instagram Reels or TikToks. You know, people repost TikToks now on Instagram Reels. Mm-hmm. Where they are giving advice on what to do with the new update, with the new phone update. And so it just got me thinking about advice, because I'm watching these people. I am assuming that they know more about this than I do, because I know nothing until they tell me. Now I know something, but that's just because I listened to people that knew something say something about it. But it got me thinking, like, about advice, like where we get advice from. I don't know these people. I just know that they know more about the cell phone than I do. Mm-hmm. And so, where we get our advice from, like if we're in a situation, we're in a circumstance, we need to get information, what kind of advice that we're giving. So it made me want to kind of ask you today, what is maybe the best piece of advice that you have ever received? Have you ever gotten like a piece of advice that you just absolutely love?
I just think growing up, when I was told to, watch my words, watch what I say.
Now, was there like a slogan for that? Was there like a slogan around it? Like, watch your words or you'll be a nerd. Was there something like that?
No, just kind of watch what you're saying. Okay. I can't think of the other one. I know when Emma was in kindergarten, her teacher, Miss Thompson, would always say, you get what you get and you don't put your fit. And I think that's relational for kindergartners and for grown-ups too.
No, that's good advice for anybody. And that actually, Emma's in 8th grade now. Miss Thompson told her that in kindergarten. And we still to this day say that as part of our family. We're just like, you get what you get, don't pitch a fit.
Yep.
So that is something that we that is definitely part of our culture. I've heard some advice. One of the pieces of advice that I heard that I really like is don't pee in the wind because it'll blow back on you.
Well, I took it way more serious than what you're saying, but
What do you mean? You don't like that? That was an excellent piece of advice.
I'm trying to think about like meaningful.
That is mean. Listen. You do not want to get pee back on you if you're peeing into the wind.
It's got to be for men only.
I'm just saying it could be for ladies too. If you're outside,
no,
and you're going pee-pee.
But You're sitting.
Yeah, but it could get on your spots, and you
No.
don't want to do that.
Oh, we don't.
You want to.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay. I'm just saying it could happen.
I think,
and it could be a disaster.
I would think one more advice, similar to what I just said, was think before you speak.
Yeah. See, that's catchy. I think advice needs good catchphrases. Don't you think?
A lot of people don't think before they say stuff, and you can't take it back once you say it. So,
okay, a more serious piece of advice that I have received is one. My mom has told me before that it's okay to open doors when opportunities come. It's okay to look through a door, but you don't have to always walk through the door. And I've used that. That's something that I remember, where sometimes opportunities come up and you want to see what is inside of them, and you want to see if it's something that you're interested in. But just because you look in a door doesn't mean that you have to take that opportunity. So that's a good piece of advice. And really, when I started thinking about advice, something that I found interesting is there's not a lot of information about advice on the internet.
no.
Now, especially around the phrase, because here's what I Googled. I Googled, what are the pieces of advice that people want the most? Now, there's other things. There's other articles about advice. Obviously, there's people that are talking about advice and things like that. But what I was searching for is like, what is it that people are looking for advice about?
You want me to look this up?
Well, no, I already did. I already looked it up.
You know what all we're going to
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're good.
proud
No,
of you.
I'm prepared.
I'm so
Listen,
proud of
even
you.
though technically we're having technicalities, I'm still prepared for what we're going to do.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, so I looked it up. I couldn't find what I was looking for specifically, but I did find an interesting article. It's on a website called Inc.
Okay.
I don't really know much about Inc. It's just INC, Inc.
I think INK, but
Yeah,
INC.
not
Okay.
like for your pen. And the name of the article is just simply 25 excellent pieces of advice that most people ignore.
Okay.
So these are 25 pieces of advice that people should listen to according to the article. And so I want to read them to you and tell me what you think about it, and if this would be advice that you would give to somebody. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Number 1, take time to know yourself. What do you think about that?
Take time to know yourself.
Yeah, to know yourself. Is that a good piece of advice? Would you give somebody that advice?
No.
All right, hold on. You don't think people should know themselves?
I don't understand how someone wouldn't know themselves.
Okay.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. So, all right. So you don't think someone should know themselves, like be aware of themselves?
Think they should already know themselves. I don't know why you'd have to take time to know who you are.
Not like your name, but like, what is it that what are your morals? What are your standards? What do you stand for? What do you believe in?
Again, people don't know that.
There are people that don't know what they believe. Maybe they've been in some kind of crazy, weird situation, but they genuinely don't know what they believe, or, those kind of things. And so there are people like that. So, but you're saying you don't think that people taking time to know themselves is a good piece of advice?
I don't.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm sure there may be some people out there. If
okay.
y'all need help knowing yourselves, just let me know. I'll tell you all about yourself.
So this just in, Christy's willing to tell everybody about themselves if they need it.
Yes. You just come on and let me tell you. If you can't figure out yourself, you just come to me. I'll let you know all about you.
Okay. All right. All right. Number two.
Okay.
We are not off to a good start here.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Number 2. A narrow focus brings big results. What do you think about this?
I could agree with that.
So instead of focusing on a bunch of different things, focus on some small, or be narrow focused in, like, instead of trying to be great at everything, what's one thing you're really great at? Or instead of trying to do everything, what's one or two things that you could really focus in and do really well at? So you like that one?
Yeah, because, thinking about it, just with our weight loss journey and me walking, I focus on the walking to get to where I'm going. Because if I focus to the end of it, I don't think I'd ever get there. But just focusing one foot in front of the other, small strides, I feel like I'll get to where I need to be eventually.
All right. Number 3, show up fully. So essentially what this is saying is be fully engaged. Don't be distracted. Like when you're in a room, be in that room. When you're in a conversation, be in that conversation. When you're with your family, be with your family. Why are you laughing? You're laughing some.
I'm laughing because you're having to explain. You're having to explain
well, after
it to
the
me.
first one, I was concerned.
I appreciate that you're explaining it on the level that I'm at.
Okay,
so.
all right.
Because there may be some that are thinking, this is so broad. But
well, I don't want to mansplain it to you. Like if you know
no,
it.
if I know it, then you'll know I know it.
Okay, all right.
But if I'm just sitting there for a second, you just better explain.
So far, have I explained something that
I agree. You're doing great.
Okay. Just making sure. Because, after we got to number 1, I was like, man, we got a long way to go for you not to understand what we're talking about.
Sometimes you got to get it going, so it's okay. Right. So, yes, back to the question at hand.
Yeah, so show up fully. I agree. What does that mean to you, like, in our family?
I think...
Like, for me, for me to show up fully.
Like, when we're in the living room and we're all together, and we are doing the same thing, watching a show or whatever, our phones are away, you're fully engaged in what we're doing, or I'm fully engaged, or the girls are, then we're showing up fully to enjoy that time together. Or if we play a board game together, put our phones away, and we're just together doing that.
I like the idea of, when somebody is in a room and you're watching TV, you're not, if everybody's on their phone, they're not fully in that conversation. And so I like that piece of advice, to show up fully wherever you are, to not be distracted, to not be focused on other things, that kind of stuff. All right, number 4, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. What do you think about that?
I think that's good. Because a lot of times we can assume the worst, or we can assume whatever, and it's just an assumption. You may not have any idea of how I'm thinking that day, or who you're with that day, and they're having a bad day. You'll assume that it's something, but we may not know it. So don't always assume. Yeah. We may not know the whole story.
One day I want us to write it down. I want to do a podcast on judgment. I know this is assumption, but judgment comes from assumption. Now, not to get on a tangent, but there is a misconception about judgment and judging other people. I know it's a catchy buzz thing to say, well, you can't judge me, but biblically speaking, that's not entirely true. I don't want to get into it right now, but I do want us to do a podcast one day on the topic of judging other people. But judgment does come from assumption. It's assuming something that is not true. And so we have to be careful not to assume. That person that cut you off in the road, you can't assume that they're a jerk because they cut you off in the road. That person that, spoke rudely to you, your boss that was really short with you, you can't assume that, that there's something wrong. You just don't know what kind of day they've had. So I think that's a good piece of advice. All right, number 5, be patient and persistent.
That's good.
Do you think you're patient?
I think I'm patient.
Do you think you're persistent?
Sometimes.
You are persistent to me, but I don't know that you are persistent in general.
Right. Well, I may just be persistent with you because I'm comfortable with you.
Okay.
And so I can be persistent because I am comfortable with you and you know me. I do think I'm patient. I think I become impatient when I'm hungry.
Ooh, you do. You are the epitome of hangry. That is true. If your picture should be by hangry in whatever dictionary that's in.
And when I'm hungry. I know you're hungry. You better go get me some food. Even if you ask me if I want anything and I say no, you normally
still eat.
You normally get me something, or
no, bro,
because
you will eat my
I'm
food.
Gonna need it.
You will eat my food. You want something? No. All right, I'll get you something.
That's a good motto right there.
Yeah, that's a free piece of advice to any husbands out there. If you don't want your wife eating your food, just get them something.
Even if they're not hungry, pick them up some nuggets.
Yeah, nah, that you know what? Even if you don't eat those nuggets, that $1.50 or $2-3 that I invest just in case is totally worth it for you not to eat my food.
And you can have lunch tomorrow
or later.
Yep.
Or just eat more food. All right. Okay, here we go. Number 6. Tell me what you think about this. In order to get, you have to give. In order to get, you have to give. What do you think about that?
Now, I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I agree with your disagreement.
Because me being a giver, I never give stuff to expect something back.
Yes.
Like, I never bake a cake to give someone and then expect that person to give me something back.
Yes. That's
just not what a giver does. So try to teach the girls that too. Don't give stuff and expect, I'm going to get this back. Or that's just, I don't believe in that.
I think this should be written a way that I think I would like it better is if it was written to give without expecting to get back. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of times people will do things or they'll give things with an expectancy that they're going to get something back. And that's not why you should give. Mm-hmm. You should not give to get. And I think this goes across the board. You should not, you shouldn't give somebody $1 expecting someone to give you $1. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I like the rule that we never borrow money.
I agree. I was going to say the same
but
thing.
If I want to give somebody money, I will do that, but I have zero expectancy to give it back. Mm-hmm. So I do not lend money, mm-hmm. but I will give somebody some money with an expectancy that they'll have it. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes with forgiveness. A lot of times people will say, I will forgive them when they say I'm sorry. Well, to me, that's the wrong attitude to have. And I get it. When you start talking about forgiveness, you could go across the board, but forgiveness should be given whether the person ever says I'm sorry or not. It's about what is it that I can give. Mm-hmm. Do I need to say I'm sorry? Well, I don't know if the person will forgive me. It doesn't matter. What is it that I need? What is the right thing for me to do? And so, you take that across the board. We don't give to get. We give because it's the right thing to do.
I agree.
All right, number 7. Luck comes from hard work. Luck comes from hard work. What do you think about that?
I don't think luck has anything to do with hard work. I don't know. I don't really know if I believe in luck. Now, we did wear our Carolina clothes yesterday, hoping that we could bring some luck to the Gamecocks, but I don't think that has anything to do with anything.
Well, when we're recording this, South Carolina Gamecock fans. They just played the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. We were hoping that they would. I don't really think I had any expectancy that they would win, but we were hoping that they would.
I was holding out hope for them.
Do well.
Yeah.
It was no bueno. No bueno. I don't think I believe in luck, and I think this comes from my belief in biblical principles, where I don't believe in luck, because I believe that the Lord orders our steps, and so God is in control regardless. And so sometimes God will order our steps, and they will be, it'll be good things. Sometimes the Lord will order our steps, and we end up. He's helping us walk through bad situations. Sometimes we're allowed to go through bad situations to strengthen us and prepare us for something that he wants us to do later. But the idea of luck is that things just happen and the universe aligns, and then all of a sudden, magically, these two lines pass each other, and that's where luck takes place. And I just don't believe that. I believe that that life is too orchestrated by God for luck to be involved. So I don't know that I like this one.
Okay.
Because I'm not personally a believer in luck.
Right.
So, okay. All right. Number 8, be your best at all times. Be your best at all times. Now, I do believe in this one because the other one said luck comes from hard work, but I think hard work means you're doing your best at all times.
Right.
Regardless of the situation, you're doing the best that you can do. If it's the best that you can do, then you should do that. Now, you may not be the best, but what is the best that you could do?
I agree. I mean, we're not always going to be our best. I mean, we may have downfalls and stuff, but I think it's good advice to try your best.
No, I think definitely. I think you should always go into any scenario thinking, I'm going to do the best that I can do. You shouldn't go into like your job tomorrow or today and be like, you know what, I'm just going to half butt it today and see how it turns out. No, I think you should go in and say, okay, what's the best that I can do?
Well, we all should have that mindset. I don't know if we always do, though.
No, we don't. And I can't say that I do, but it is, and biblically speaking,
I mean, it's good advice.
Biblically speaking, it is a biblical principle. For whatever we do it unto the Lord. So if we're going to do it unto the Lord, then we should do it the best that we can. I like this one too. Number 9, don't try to impress everyone.
I agree. I think a lot of times when we try to impress people, we're not our true self.
Yeah.
You try real hard to impress a person.
Yeah.
But they're not seeing the real you.
No, I agree.
Like, maybe I was trying to impress you when we were dating.
Yeah.
And so like you tell me all the time, I said I'd iron your clothes when we got married.
Yeah, you did.
So that's
that didn't work out.
I was trying to impress you.
Did that work out for us?
I got married.
Yeah, but I don't have my clothes ironed. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
But we do have a dryer.
Okay.
It works really well.
That is true.
But I was just saying, you maybe, I said things to impress you, and you've probably done the same things for me.
Yeah.
And I think even with
I
friendship.
used to take my shirt off to impress you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. You still do that.
Yeah, girl.
Still hanging in there. But, even with friends, if you're trying to impress your friends, they may not see the real you because you're trying to impress friends. So I think if you can't be your true self around them, or they can't be their true self around you, then, it's not the best.
You are the best version of you when you are being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're the best version of you. And because that's true, we shouldn't try to bend who we are to try to fit into a group or to whatever the case is.
If they don't like me for me and I can't be me with other people, then I don't want to be around them anyway, to be honest.
No, I agree.
So,
number 10, don't be afraid of being afraid.
I mean, that's okay. Do you get afraid of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think I am often.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of bugs.
Yes, you are.
I am afraid of when I pull up at a red light at night that somebody's going to rob me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's true. That's a real thing. But here's what I think that we should say about this. The reason we shouldn't be afraid to be afraid is because oftentimes in that we live in what's easy and what's comfortable. Mm-hmm. And again, what I believe, biblically speaking, from a Christian point of view is, God sometimes will create circumstances or opportunities that stretch us. And if we will not be afraid of being afraid and we'll get out of what is comfortable, then we'll experience a part of life that we've never experienced before. Sometimes we don't experience better things is because we keep doing the same things over and over. We don't expand. We don't grow. We don't step out. We don't cross the line in which it gets uncomfortable. As long as we're comfortable, as long as we're easy, then we're good. But sometimes growth, progress movement forward happens when we step past the line of comfort into uncomfortable things, into things that are uncertain, which people can identify as being afraid. So, all right, number 11, listen to learn. Do you think people should listen to learn?
Oh, yeah, I think that applies to us. I think it applies to kids, students, employees.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the only way to learn is to listen.
I'm not a great listener. We talked about this before. And so I don't know that I'll learn anything because I don't listen that great.
It's true.
Wow. Okay. All right. Number 12, life's good, but it's not fair. Now, again, these are pieces of advice, according to this article, that people normally don't listen to. So, some of them we agree with, some of them not necessarily. But again, number 12, life's good, but it's not fair.
I think life is good and life is what you make it.
Yes.
I mean, you can't compare yourself to other families. You can't compare yourself to, other people or even celebrities or anything. I mean, you make your life the way you want it. Now, is everything always going to be great? No. But I think on how you take on the day or take on problems or take on difficult situations. And really, I mean, we have God on our side. And even if it's in a hard situation, if we take it with that stance that he's with us, he's on our side, then we kind of take whatever comes our way. I mean, we got a transmission that's a lot of money to take care of it, but we could let it put us down and defeat us, or, we're still going to keep trucking on and take care of it.
Yeah. Well, Jesus said this. Jesus even said, in this world, you will have trouble. I think a lot of times people think, well, I serve God. I go to church. I give in the offering. I serve at church. Why are things so difficult? Well, because life is difficult. Mm-hmm. Living is oftentimes difficult. And so life can be good, but it's not because everything's great, because ultimately life is good because of a mindset. It's like the phrase that I use all the time: the day is what you make it. You choose what kind of day you want to have. You can't control everything around you, but you can control your words, your thoughts, your actions. So ultimately, choose to have a good day by doing good things in those. So I totally agree with what you said. Is you just have to, we live the life that we make it, ultimately. Not necessarily the things around us, but how we respond, our attitude, all of that matters. So, you could be, if you're listening to the podcast and maybe you're just going through a really, really tough time right now, I can't say that your problems are going to get solved. I can't say the money issue or the marriage issue or the job issue is immediately going to get solved, but your mindset and your attitude about it can change, which can ultimately change your entire day, and the entire forecast of what's ahead for you. So I do think there's power inside of that. Number 13, no task is beneath you. There's nothing that's beneath you. There's nothing that you are too good to do. I agree with that.
Okay.
You don't?
I'm trying to think of a task I might not think I can do.
Well, no, not what you can do, but like...
No task is beneath me.
Yeah.
So that means I'm thinking of a task that could be beneath me to see if I could answer the question.
Well, all right. So, for example, all right, I'll give you an example.
You got to explain it to me.
I'll give you an example.
All right, go ahead.
In my job, I'm the second boss. Okay? So we have a pastor that's over our church, and then I'm the second boss. Technically, he is the pastor, and I am the boss of the staff. That's the technicality of it. And then we have a team that works there. And so we have a team, we have a group that cleans the restrooms, okay? There have been people that have left underwear full of poop in the trash can. We used to have a septic issue. So if something happens, let's say it was in the restroom area, even though we have a team of people, if I'm there, I should still respond to the need instead of saying, you know what, that ain't my job, bro.
So you're saying no task should be that you're better than that task.
I'm not good enough.
Right.
I should not have on the mentality that I am so good or I have achieved anything that there's nothing I could not or should not do.
Okay. I did not.
Now, there are things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have the mindset that like I'm just too good to do that.
I misunderstood the question.
Okay.
I was thinking of hard tasks that I may not be able to do.
No, I mean there's things like if somebody needed me to change their alternator, I couldn't do that crap.
So I just misunderstood. You got to explain it to me.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
But I could help change an alternator, even though I'd really just want to pay somebody to do it.
Okay.
So it's not like what I think I should do or that I'm too good to do, but am I willing to do whatever is needed of me?
Well, I think that's good advice.
Okay. Number 14, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. That's 100% true. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to say no. You got to walk away.
Oh, for sure.
I got some things on my Amazon list right now that I would love to just click and say bye. But I can't. I can't always get what I want.
No. And me being the penny pitcher, I'm like, no, we don't ever need anything. Yeah. I just learned how to work Amazon the other day. And I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah. You
so
just learned how to get on Amazon.
And order something.
But you love to do that. You love to order stuff. You love to get on apps and order things. You do it all the time. Target. Kroger.
I know how to work Target out.
Yeah.
If it's an app, I know I don't have any problem.
You love the Target app.
Yeah, it's nice. And Kroger.
Yeah. So with the Target app, you need to learn you can't always get what you want.
I don't always get what I want.
Oh, okay. Well, you get a lot.
I get what I need.
My phone through the week pops up all the time. Your Target order is ready.
Hey,
and I'm like, dang, girl, what we done got at Target now?
I ask before I buy.
You do that. All right, number 15, don't make a decision when you are angry.
That's good.
Don't make a decision when you're angry. I agree with that. We need to let things cool, let things calm down, get into a better place before you make a decision, and in some cases, before you respond. Mm-hmm. Before you respond, you probably need to calm down and respond with a level head, not a hot head. Number 16, don't worry about what other people think.
That's good advice, but it's still hard.
Yeah. Do you think you worry a lot about what people think?
I'm at that age where it don't really matter to me what people think about me.
Yeah. I think I did. I think you said age. I think age matters in that. Confidence matters in that.
Well, because some people aren't going to say the truth.
Yeah.
And if you're my true friend and people talk about me, they know the true me, the real me. If they're my real friends and they're seeing the real me, then they're going to know who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. So, and I've had that happen, recently. If people are going to talk about me, my true friends are going to know if that's the true me or not. So,
well, here's the thing. The only difference that I have with this is there are people that I care what they think about me. Mm-hmm. I care what you think about me.
Oh, I mean, we're close. It's our close
people. But I care what you think about me.
I would hope so.
I care what the girls think about me. I care what my pastor and my boss and my friend, I care what he thinks about me.
Right.
I care what my mom and my sisters and my dad think about me. So well,
again, they're close.
Yeah, but
it's closeness.
But the reason I care about what they think is because those voices matter to me. Mm-hmm. What I don't think people should do is care about people whose voices don't matter to them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we run ourselves ragged being consumed about people the opinions of people that we would never take advice from. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't do that. Like if you would not take advice from someone, if there's no part of your life that you would call someone and say, hey, would you tell me what you think about this? Then there's no reason to worry what they think because they don't have the value in your life to get advice. So why should they have the value in your life to control your thoughts about what they think about you?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So, I do think that I care about what other people think, but I think it's the people that I value.
Yeah. I think close people to me, I care what they say, or think about me. But again, if they're close to me, then they know the real me, and they know if there's a lie going around or people telling things. We working, we're good, huh? We're going, okay. Again, so.
Yeah, and
I guess I'm just thinking in my old age, if there are people talking about me, then I don't care to know it, and I don't let it bother me.
Yeah, not to add to this point, but I think the other part of this thing is, we have to, crap, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, I lost my train of thought. We're having technical difficulties. We're going to make it through this somehow, some way, so we'll figure it out.
Let's wrap it up and see what else we got.
All right. Number 17, use adversity as an opportunity. So things that come against you, don't let them take you out, but use them as an opportunity to grow from those things. Yeah, you think about that? You think that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the resistance training. Resistance training builds up endurance. It builds up strength. And so in the same way, things that fight against us, don't let it take us out, but help it build us.
I think about if something bad happens to you, then I always think if something bad happens to me, then it may be an opportunity for me later to help someone that's gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
That I can give good advice on how I got through it, or that's the way I take that.
Absolutely. Number 18, I think we already kind of talked about this one. Do what is right, not what's easy. And I think we kind of talked about that, doing the right things, not necessarily the easy thing. Do what's right. What's in front of you that's right.
Okay.
Number 19, dreams remain dreams until you take action. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Dreams remain dreams until you take action.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a really cool quote that I love. I don't think he originated the quote, but it's Rich Wilkerson Jr. He's a pastor in Miami. And I heard him say it first. He said, what you want, you have to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will be the sacrifice. And I always thought that was such a profound statement where, you have to do what it takes to put in the work to get the outcomes that you want to get. Again, I don't think it's not a luck thing. It's God's ordering our steps, but I think God blesses that, those efforts. Number 20, treat others the way that you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you speak, the way you look, looks that we give, things that we say. Do we want people to talk behind our backs? No. So we shouldn't talk about behind other people's backs.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want people to be gracious to us? Yes. Well, then we need to be gracious to other people. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's hard though when, treat others the way you want to be treated, but it's not reciprocated.
Sure.
You're not treated the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Well, I think that's where you
when
go
you're
back
done
to
wrong or done, someone is bad,
I get
bad
that.
to you. So
I think it's where you go back to the idea of do what's right, not what's easy. Mm-hmm. Do the right thing. Even going back farther to don't give to get. Like, you do what's right. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what else is going on, do the right thing. Okay, number 21, when you quit, you fail. When you quit, you fail. Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think I do agree in some cases, but not in all cases. I think there's an area of gray here. I think this is a really good thing to say. I think it sounds really good, but there's always circumstances. Now, there's always circumstances that can be applied that make quitting justifiable. I don't want to get into a long story about this, but one of those things is when we were planning a church, I walked away from that. I quit. And in all honesty, I have felt in the past and still struggle with the idea that I potentially failed. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think it was the best decision? I do think it was the best decision. I do think that. I think looking back, it was the best decision. It was a right decision. It was definitely not an easy decision, but there is a sense that I have created in me, whether the people around me feel that way or not, I have created it in me where because of that, I have failed. Now, there was another time, and I'm just speaking about jobs here. There was another time that I was working at a job. It's the only time I ever did this. I hated that job. Mm-hmm. This is the only time I ever did this. I hated that job so much. It made me so miserable. I was just like, yo, I'm out. And I have not looked back. I have not regretted that. And if it was considered failure, I don't even care about that. I have not lost any sleep about that. I have lost sleep about the other, but I haven't lost any sleep about that. Okay. So what do you think?
I think of quitting would be like, I keep talking about it, but like our weight loss journey. You can quit something, but you can get back to it. So I don't necessarily call it quitting. If you quit, then you're never going to go back to it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you may need to pause.
You need a break.
Pause it and then say, hey, you know what? I'm not getting off this train yet. I'm going to pick it back up. So I don't necessarily say I quit as failing. It may just be where you need time to say, hey, let me pause what I'm doing and then be encouraged to get right back up and keep going. So
okay. Number 22. I don't know if I love this one. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. What do you think about that?
I mean, you never have that thought where you think, I'm going to go with my gut here?
All right, here's my problem.
This is my first time hearing these questions.
No, I know.
So,
and I haven't seen these. I haven't seen these particular either. I don't. I have a hard time trusting my instincts because I know. I think sometimes I can trust my experience. Mm-hmm. I can trust my knowledge. I can trust the facts that I have about situations, but
base your decision on that.
And I try to make my decisions on those things. But instinctually, here's the problem that I have. And I didn't really want to get into this, but the problem that I have with this is my instincts are natural. They're man. And so when I trust my instincts, I'm going with a man's reaction and response. Where ultimately I always want to go with God's. Now, do I do that? No, I can't say that I'm 100%. But that's what I want to do. And so the idea of trusting my instincts gives me pause because I know in my human nature, I'm imperfect. And so if I go with my instincts, then I'm going with something that's imperfect. So that's my pause on that. Again, I think it sounds really great. I think for people that are Christians and you align your life and your heart with the ways of the Lord, and biblically speaking, it's hard to just say, just trust your instincts because we're impure, we're imperfect people. And so I can't trust something that's impure and imperfect.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes it's emotions too. You can't trust your emotions to go on with what you're about to decide. Yeah. That's the way I look at it.
100%. All right. Learn something new every day. I like this one. Learn something new every day. I don't always do that, but I think it's a good thought, good premise.
Yeah.
To learn something new every day.
Okay.
Number 24, make what is valuable important. I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last one is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Again, these are 25 pieces of advice that people often do not follow. Number 25 is believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think I agree with this, because we have to put value in ourselves, and it helps when we do that. When we put value in ourselves, when we believe in ourselves, we put value in ourselves, then it helps us to be able to do all of the other things that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And if we don't view ourselves as valuable, it's hard for us to put all the other work. Everything else we've talked about, it's hard for us to put those things in play, because we don't really know what we think about ourselves. If we have a low self-esteem, we don't think highly of ourselves, why in the world would we do what's right?
Right.
We're going to do what other people want because we don't think highly of ourselves.
Right.
So I do think that's an important ending point.
I think that too, and I think who you surround yourself around will help you be a better you.
Yep.
Help you to believe in yourself.
Yes.
If you have people pouring into you that believe in you as well.
Yes.
So
I agree.
That's my take on 25 long questions, and we've made it through.
We've made it through. Now, we did have
some hiccups.
We've had some technical hiccups. So if somewhere in the podcast you were like, bro, what just happened? We don't know what happened.
Well,
just stuff had happened.
We out there.
We out here. All right. Well, hey, listen. That's it. That's all we've got. We've said all that we could say. I think we've said all that the computer will allow us to say. Man, thank you so much for jumping in. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. Again, if it sounds wonky, if it sounded wonky along the way, we apologize, but we made it.
We wanted to get it out there.
We did it. Congratulations. World's best cup of coffee.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I want to leave you a couple things really quick. Listen, if you are wherever you're listening to the podcast, whatever your platform is, maybe it's you're watching or listening on Spotify, listening on Apple Podcast, or even on Google Podcast. Man, would you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and let you know whenever we put out a new podcast. We do a new podcast so far every Monday. That's our goal anyway. Every Monday it comes out at 5 a.m. so you can be aware. But if you forget, if you hit the follow button, it'll tell you, and next time you look at your podcast, it will pop up. You can also follow us on social media, Chris Lots, Christy Lots, and you can see what we're up to throughout the week and get other tidbits and snippets of the podcast and what we're going to be talking about. So, Ben, we'd appreciate it if you catch up with us there. Also, if there's something that you'd love to hear about, maybe there's a topic, something you want us to discuss, something you want us to expound on, we'd love to hear from you. So shoot us a message. Let us know what you think. Ask questions. Respond. What did you think about the list? What did you think about it? What did you think? Is there any of those that stood out to you that you really liked, that you wanted to comment on? We want to hear back from you. And so you can do that by shooting us messages on Instagram. And any problems that you have, things that you don't like, send those to Christy. She loves to read those.
No, send them to Chris.
Okay. All right.
I do like the thumbs up, though, when you give me thumbs up.
Yeah, that was cool. I got several of those this week.
Yeah.
People made it all the way through. And
we knew they watched it all because they gave us a thumbs up. So if you're still into this after, I don't know, it's been probably an hour.
Honestly, I have no idea because we've stopped and started about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, if you definitely hung out with us this long,
shout out.
We love you. We're thankful for you. And give us a thumbs up again.
Thumbs up again. A for effort. All right, guys. Hey, listen, we're going to get out of here. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you again for stopping by, hanging out with us. And until next time, see ya.
Bye.